Big things happening this week. We got really the official launch of the season with Mythic Plus hitting. We got Raid opening up on Mythic difficulty and a bunch of other things. We also got final class adjustments. Another round actually hits this week, believe it or not, as the second phase of this season kicks off. So just buckle up and sit up. It's time to get into it. Here we go. As I said before, Midnight Season 1 is now in full swing this Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on where you live in the world. We'll officially kick off the full-blown Mythic Plus season. That's right, Mythic Plus all over the place. People be plussing, put it in their keys, and having a good time with that. Also, the raids will now be available in Mythic difficulty. We'll have Mythic difficulty raids, which means your race to World First kind of kicks off, but it kind of doesn't because you can't hit really World First until the final raid opens up, but their goal will be obviously to clear these raids before Mythic Raid does eventually open up for the final raid that's opening, March on Quel'Danas, so that'll be your final phase of Race to World First. Also, if you Classic Andys out there didn't miss it, you'll be rewarded for the Classic Andy mount for playing Midnight, so there you go. We talked about that last week. And then Trial of Style actually kicked off on March 20th. But it's a little bit broken. I'll get into that. And we'll also talk about some other things happening. March 31st marks Missa Pandaria Classic Escalation. I don't even know what that is anymore. There's so many classic versions out there. And then March 26th, guys, this week, that's right, another decor item for watching a shitty Twitch stream like mine. You can watch 4 hours of any stream out there or this really shitty WoW Twitch stream right here at Samiccus. And get yourself a nice little decor item. We mentioned that just last week, too. And then Arena Mythic, Dungeon International, and Arena World Champions will kick off as well. You guys could sign up for that, do your shit. You're looking at a Season 2 and 3 Arena champion right here, but I won't compete in those competitions anymore. Speaking of Mythic rating kicking off, Blizzard is policing add-on avoidage. That's right, people who've been kind of making little tricks here and there to kind of avoid the fact that add-ons have been removed from the game. Well, Blizzard police are out in full force, and they are cracking down on any of that shit, making restrictions on certain things that right now some people are picking up on and creating workarounds for add-ons. They don't want any of that shit happening in the Race to World First, so they are cracking down on things and not allowing certain things happening in this game right now with cooldown managers and other spell abilities that shouldn't be tracked, but people have found a way to track them. So if you're currently using some kind of, 40-page macro workaround, that shit might not work after the updates this week. Also, a good thing, they're being a little bit policey, but they're also unrestricting some things. For good news for healers here, the latest hotfixes have removed private aura flags from many of Season 1's dispels. Yeah, I don't know why these were private auras before, but evidently, really, healers just kind of had to fucking blindly dispel shit. They couldn't really see what the hell was going on. So now all of these abilities from the raid are no longer private and can be actually viewable. Things will glow properly and everything. You'll be able to see shit that needs to be dispelled. So that's really good news for healers because I've been healing through the grapevine. Yeah, healers have been super pissed about the add-on changes and everything lately, especially with dispels. So this should make things a little bit easier for them. As I mentioned earlier, a Trial of Style is now available. This is officially the first Trial of Style with the new Transmog style, right? Where we got the Transmog, basically slot-specific Transmogs. That's no longer the way it used to be. Now we have a new way of doing it. So Blizzard said they were going to offer people basically a free Transmog slot, right, to create a transmog for your Trial of Style because now everything is basically outfit-based, and basically it's broken the game. So the Trial of Style is completely broken. The shit ain't working. Hey, how's it going, Acid? And even the items, the new item rewards are not there. So there's a lot of weird shit going on with the Trial of Style. If you want to go try it, see if it's fixed today, I'm sure Blizzard's going to work in some hot fixes for this. But basically, this shit ain't working. And even the rewards, as I mentioned before, we were supposed to get these Dune cloths. Honestly, they kind of look like something from the movie Dune. These Dune cloth sets are supposed to be something that you would be getting from the Trial of Style through the reward vendors, and they're not even showing up. So clearly shit's broken. People haven't been able to do it. And yeah, I guess Blizzard's going to hotfix this one, and also fuck you, Anarian. Moving on to this one here, we got Prey Journey updates happening. So people have been working through the Prey system. Honestly, it's been getting a lot of praise. I feel like the Prey system overall has been pretty well received by players. Really, Blizzard worked it in a nice way where it's actually contributed to the journey of gearing out in the game right now. Using the Prey system in certain ways can really help you gear out quickly. And people have been enjoying it, except for one thing, the journey ranks. People feel like it's taken too long. Blizzard heard the feedback, and they're actually making it a lot easier. So from now on, this one's been hotfixed in. Journey ranks 1 through 3, completing hunts on the first 4 of each week will now award you with 1,000 journey progression. Now, once you're a rank 4, your 4 hunts will still give you, Your 4 hunts will still give you 1,000 journey progression, and after that, you'll get 50. So if you really just want to spam this shit, I mean, it's not something you should be doing. It's not really viable, but if you want to, you'll still get 50 journey progression for that. And then completing your first 4 hunts each week, as I mentioned before, no matter where you're currently ranked, will give you 1,000 journey progress. So this is going to make journey progress a little bit faster for those ranks and help people just level up through the system better. So there you go. Enjoying these things so far. I actually have not participated in the prey system at all so far. I've been really leveling through delves for the most part and raid with you guys. So it's been a journey, but I plan on getting into the prey journey a little bit later in the game. We'll see if I actually get into that today. And then also, probably one of the most important pieces of fun here, guys, more class changes. I mean, it's just guaranteed at this point. Every single day that passes, we're going to get more class changes happening. But this one's important because this is the final one before Mythic Plus opens up and Mythic Raid. So this is a big one here. We got these dropping the same day that the Mythic Plus opens up and Mythic Raid opens up on the reset. So here we go. Let's see what's going on here. We have a nice buff for Devour Demon Hunter. All damage dealt increased by 3%. We got an increase here to the Focus Ray, and Collapsing Star bonus damage increase as well. So this is good. This is nice for the Devourers. I heard they got a little bit pushed too hard one way. Now they're coming back the other way. So a nice buff for them. Restoration Druids getting some nice increases to healing here. Nice buffs across the board for Restoration Druid. They should be healing a little bit stronger. Devastation Evoker getting a little bit of devastation here. Disintegrate damage being reduced by 5%, as well as some other changes here. An increase actually on Twin Flame damage for Flame Shaper, and Scale Commander seeing the Black Dragonflight bonus for black spells reduced to 20%, was 30. So honestly, mostly of a nerf here is what it looks like. Preservation Evoker heading in the same direction here as we see an all healing reduction by 5%. I think Preservation was doing really good in healing, weren't they? I thought they were doing actually pretty nice on the charts. It looks like Blizzard thought they were doing too good, so they're nerfing them a bit. And then we see 2 healing increases here to 2 separate abilities, but the all healing decreased by 5%. That's kind of shit. Here we go on to Hunter. Bestiality Hunter. All damage dealt by you and your pets have been increased by 5%. That's a damn. That's a lot, actually. What's going up, animal? Speaking of animals, yeah, this is pretty good. So nice buff, 5%, not only for the player themselves, but for their pets as well. And then Marksmanship Hunter, looks like it's not having as good of a time. Aspect of the Hydra effectiveness reduced to 35%, was 65%. So that's a 30% reduction there. And aim shot damage increased by 8%. So, not bad. Thank you for the follow, animal. I appreciate that. Welcome to our Scourge. Not bad on this one, but good on the aim shot. So we'll see how that balances out for marksmanship. Paladin, we see Reflection of the Radiance proc rate has been significantly reduced. Oh no, if that was an important part of your rotation, that's not good. And then Hammer of the Anvil healing increased though, so that's good. We also see Rite of Eduration increased. So some buffs across the board except for Reflection of the Radiance proc. That looks like that's the one nerf there that they're going to see for Holy Paladin. For Discipline Priest, we see all damage reduced. Wow, was Discipline pumping? By 12%. That's actually pretty big. Damn. They're getting the nerf hammer there. So that's not too good. We see a couple little increases here, but I think that all damage reduced is going to carry the day. 12% nerf. What was happening there? Sam not even knowing what he reads. One of the truest statements I've ever seen in chat. Also, Rogue Assassination. All ability melee damage increased by 4%. Nice. For Outlaw, all damage increased by 4% for ability and melee. And then Sub-Titty, all damage and melee increased by 3%. So all 3 Rogue specs having a good day here as we head into the season. Increases across the board for them, not only in spell and abilities, but just straight up melee damage. So that's really good for them. Elemental Shaman also having a great day here as we see multiple increases to multiple abilities, tons of buffs across the board for Elemental, and Restoration seeing a 3% increase. Look at that. Blizzard showing love to the Shamans and Rogues. They're having a great day with these patch notes. Warlock Demonology, all ability damage reduced by 4%. Oh no, that's not good. Don't add them to the list. Never mind. They're not having a good time. So Warlock, Demonology reduction by 4%, but Shaman and Rogue getting increases by 4% and even bigger for some of these abilities right here. The rest of this stuff is PvP-related stuff. Some people can read this if they want to, if they're PvPing out there. I'll link this in the chat and down below the video if you're watching this on YouTube. But overall, some pretty big changes, man. I can't believe Discipline. What the hell? A 12% reduction. That's no joke, man. That's pretty big. The rest of these, some pretty big buffs, a couple reductions here. Not bad stuff. We'll see how everyone actually plays out. Finally here, we'll close out with a few little things here for transmog and mount purposes. If you like the Amani style or aesthetic, there is actually a couple weapons that you can get from the Arsenal Heirlooms of Altamon. This is a reward you get for doing the Personal History questline in the Amani Zar village. So pick up this quest line if you want to pick up some aesthetical, nice looking weapon transmogs here. These are what the weapons look like, so it actually give you a couple different weapon looks that you can pick up from this quest line here. Just a little something if you want to do in your spare time to pick up some extra transmogs if you really like the Amani Troll aesthetic. And finally, we got some new mounts coming in 12.0.5. That's right, we're talking about the next patch already. And there's some really cool ones here. Unfortunately, I think the model viewer is not working today, so we'll have to look at the solid pictures of these. But we got some really cool looking Amani Troll War Eagles here. Really cool stuff. Different color variations on the War Eagles. We talked about this not too long ago. These Gilnean horses. What does this mean? Are we going to see some Gilnean relevancy here, or is this just going to be something randomly that shows up on the trading post? Really cool looking stuff. I love the scratches on the back of these things, the lamps, the little traps here for obviously some organ that are running rampant. Really cool looking color variations on these. We're not sure how we're going to get these yet, but some of the coolest looking horse models I've seen in the game in quite a while. And then here we got these Arboons, they're calling them. Obviously a little reskin of these demon, the demon boy mounts. But this is probably one of the coolest reskins I've seen in quite a while. Let's see if I can get the big boy picture here. This looks absolutely awesome. I actually freaking love this mount skin on this. Yes, it's flowering shit, but man, these monkey boys look freaking cool. So this is a cool looking, we got a like albino monkey boy here, and then there's a browner version right here. So these are actually really cool looking. Flying monkeys, yes. Flying monkeys indeed. So cool looking mounts for sure. Again, we don't know how we're going to get these. We got another Amani Warbear. If you haven't had enough of those already, that's pretty cool. And then we have an Unbound Mana Worm. It's a cool looking Mana Worm if you're into the Mana Worm looking shit. And then finally we see another Hawk Boy. A couple little things here. This one's cool, a Void Corrupted Bird. This thing's pretty badass looking. Looks like something you would have gotten from Meldraxxus. And then finally a Void Corrupted Lynx. I don't think that's the full... Not sure what's Void Corrupted about this. But yeah, there you go. So some cool looking mounts, interesting stuff. As I mentioned before, big week for WoW. Big week for a bunch of classes evidently too, with a bunch of this shit going down. And a few other things. Don't forget to stay tuned for more news coming this week. But for today, that is all in terms of news.